The Chicago Bears got their third win in a row last night when they took on the Washington Commanders in the rain. They took on the Commanders, the refs, and the weather, and they came out with a win. But all things did not come out unscathed as DJ Moore is taken to the hospital after the game. We're talking about the biggest takeaways from the game, what's going on with DJ Moore, and dive a little bit into the mailbag right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bears Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bears news and content.
What's going on, Bears fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bears Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. I'm the host there, Hayes, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Chi Bears Central on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go and get into the content for today, y'all. And we got an update after the game. This one came from Courtney Cronin to say this. DJ Moore was taken to Northwest Stadium in an ambulance post-game to a local area hospital for precautionary medical evaluation. He will remain in the area overnight per the team. So we've seen DJ Moore take a couple of bumps and bruises when it came down to it. He went to the sideline a bit after getting hit with a helmet kind of in his thigh area. During the game, he was on the sidelines a certain part throughout the night as well. He got hit during a catch and run as well in the first half. It looks like Antoine Randall L. did ride with him in the ambulance as well, but this is a pretty big thing. And hopefully it's nothing major. Maybe it's a concussion or something like that. We'll see if we get any updates from Ben Johnson today. If we do get an update on what DJ Moore's situation is going to be, we will update you on that. And this is a short week for the Chicago Bears. The Bears already lost Noah Sewell, what is probably going to be a concussion. For that he left the game with a concussion, so he's probably not going to play on Sunday either, with the Bears only having a 6-day turnaround from Monday's game till Sunday's game. So that means that we're going to be without Noah Sewell. We'll see what's going on with DJ Moore. Right now, it's completely undisclosed what's going on with him. But if you got to stay in the hospital overnight, that does raise some concerns about the severity of the injury. And if it is that severe, what does that mean for his status on Sunday? So just a little update on that. We don't really have firm, updates on that quite yet. It just happened last night. We'll see. He may not even know yet. I mean, he was held overnight. We may not have an official evaluation till sometime this morning, but expect and see if the Bears do release something today. If they do, you already know. When news drops, we drop here. It's very simple. So once we get that update, we'll bring it over to you guys. So coming out of that, let's get into this game for the Chicago Bears. This was a game where the Bears had to overcome so much. The weather was a problem. The wind was a problem. The officiating was a problem. Stopping the Washington Commanders in the air was a problem. Jay Daniels had 3 touchdown passes. But you know what this Bears team did? Is that when it mattered the most, they executed. That's what they did. Even with this Bears team holding the Washington Commanders that were averaging almost 200 yards rushing on the ground per game, held them to under 150. No rushing touchdown for the Washington Commanders at all. The Bears actually had more yards per carry, more yards as well on the ground than the Washington Commanders. This team showed a lot of heart, and that's what you want to see from this team. That's what you want to see from a team that's still learning how to win consistently, and I think sometimes we can forget that. This is a team that hasn't won a lot. Like, they haven't. This version of the team hasn't, and you brought in Ben Johnson to this team for a reason. And the impact that him and this coaching staff have had on this team has been felt. It's been evident, and you can't deny it. If you wanted to, you're a fool, right? And it's not to say that things all went perfectly. Like, Caleb Williams didn't absolutely light the Washington Commanders secondary up. He didn't do anything like that. He went 17 of 29 for 252 yards. He had 1 rushing touchdown as well. But, listen, he didn't turn the ball over. He took care of the ball when it was needed the most. He came up with some big plays when it was needed the most. And that's what it came down to. Everything that we needed when we needed it the most, this team found a way to do. When we had the stall drive, when we had some time left in the third quarter and the Washington Commanders were going, the Bears came away with a takeaway. They came away with a takeaway, giving our offense another time. And then the offense found a way to move down the field and get in the field goal position to run off some clock as well. And we sealed the victory in this one. And that's what you want to see in a game like this. Like, DeAndre Swift had his best game as a Chicago Bear as well, 14 carries, 108 yards. He had 7.7 yards per carry, 2 catches for 67 yards. He had almost 200 yards from scrimmage himself. Like the Bears, you don't always want to be in a situation where you need a savior in a game, but the team was a savior. As a whole, we did some things. The special teams, the defense, the offense. It all had some mistakes over the course of the game. Make no mistake about that. The penalties were a thing, but again, we talked about the officiating. Some of that was in the Bears' control, absolutely. But hey, when you look at the difference between this team under Ben Johnson and under Matt Eberflus, this was a game that I feel like we probably would have lost under Matt Eberflus. I mean, and that's not just to blame him. That's in the results of what we see. And instead, this team, it did not break like that. It took care of what it needed to do, and we were able to pull out the win. And so when you look at it, let's talk about the biggest things in this game. Tremaine Edmunds, I want to spend some time acknowledging him because there are definitely some people that are going to be acknowledged ahead of him. Tremaine Edmunds under Dennis Allen looks like the linebacker that we paid him to be. And I know that sounds like a simplicity, like, yeah, he should look like the linebacker we paid him to be. But when you look at such the stark difference in that, he led the team with 13 tackles. The stat line, it shows that, how good he was, but it won't show how good he was in coverage. He was good against the run as well. Like what Tremaine Edmunds has done and try to turn some things around. I was talking about him as somebody like, yeah, the Bears are going to make it through this season. He's probably going to be cut because of his contract, in the offseason if he doesn't turn it around. He's turned it around. I don't know if he's going to play this way under Dennis Allen the majority of the season. We're only 5 games into the season. But if he's going to play this way the entirety of the season, Tremaine Edmunds deserves to stick around. We're going to talk about Tyreek Stevenson. We're going to talk about the guys, even Dominique Robinson, right, that have turned things around. But, like, Tremaine Edmunds has definitely been a beast in this, and he's back to playing like one of the best coverage linebackers in the game of football, is he, for the Chicago Bears. So he deserves to get some praise in that. DeAndre Swift as well. Like we just talked about it. DeAndre Swift came into this game averaging 3.2 yards per carry. He had a breakout game for this season, averaging 7.7 yards per carry. A touchdown that he caught as well. And it was just like, it's been a rough start for DeAndre Swift as a Chicago Bear with his career. Some of that's been the offensive line. Some of that's been his own performance. Some of that's been play calling. There's been a lot of things going on. But I tell you what, DeAndre Swift had a game today, and when we needed the ground game to get going, DeAndre Swift looked good, and he gave the Bears a performance that we absolutely needed in that one. And another player that I want to acknowledge as well, because I've called him out when he hasn't played well. I'm going to acknowledge it when he does play well. That's Darnell Wright. Darnell Wright, who was still playing with an injured elbow. He was still wearing a brace throughout of this. He made some great plays as the tackle at times. He was a leading blocker for Swift on some of Swift's biggest runs as well to help Swift break out also. Swift had a lot of penalties. Darnell Wright had a lot of penalties coming into this. But I tell you what, this was a reminder of how good Darnell Wright can be. Doesn't mean that he's going to be this good, but this was definitely a reminder of how good Darnell Wright can be. Now he just has to build off of this one, right, and get more healthy. An overall better performance from the offensive line is hopefully going to put him in a much better place. But Darnell Wright reminded people of how good he can be and why the Chicago Bears decided to take a chance, decided to draft him instead of going, defensive tackle when many people thought they were going to. So, I love when guys respond. And even, in my criticisms of Darnell Wright, what I have been saying, like, hey, he's been bad so far. It does look like a regression, but there's still more than enough time to turn this around from Darnell Wright if he really locks in. And this was one of the games that it looks like he's on path to turn that around. And we also got to talk about Theo Benedet. I can't wait till the PFF grades come to see if it matches the eye test. And I want to watch the All-22 as well. But Theo Benedet, in his first game starting at the left tackle position, already looks like a run blocking upgrade over Braxton Jones, right? And so, how he's going to be in the past is going to make a lot of difference for him, and we'll see how he grows and develops over time in those areas. But Theo Benedet had himself a game last night as well, and so we had much better tackle performance than what we got in the first few games for the Chicago Bears, and hopefully this is a trend in the right direction for this Bears team. Again, short week. We'll see how everybody responds to it, but, some really good performances from him as well. And I got to also call out Luther Burden positively. Luther Burden had 4 targets, 4 receptions on those 4 targets, 51 yards. And this was a game where Rome, you could tell the Commanders were scheming to try to keep the ball out of Rome Odunze's hands. He did have 5 targets, only 2 catches. Some of those, one or two of those were questionable throws by Caleb Williams. One that I remember he did drop as well. But overall, like, The Commanders did a good job at not letting Rome Odunze have the impact that he's had in other games, right? And so Luther Burden stepped up in that. DJ Moore had 5 targets, 3 receptions as well. And I think that's going to be key in this. Like, as teams are going to adjust to how Rome's been playing this season, you're going to need some other people to step up. And if that can be somebody like Luther Burden, who we drafted, a rookie that is promising and one of the better route runners on this team, that puts you in a really good position, right? But everything was not good. I got to call out somebody, Nahshon Wright. Things got better for Wright, and I want to acknowledge that things did get better of it, but this was a bad overall performance from him. Multiple penalties called that went against him that really took away the momentum that we were trying to build defensively. Washington also targeted him in coverage, and he played softened coverage in that. And I got to give him credit. He got a fumble recovery on the final drive with that. So it wasn't absolutely terrible for Nahshon Wright, because he did do some positive things in the game. He made some positive plays in the game. But the things that he did do that hurt the team were big, right? And so Nahshon Wright, we just need to have better from Nahshon Wright. But, I understand the secondary is a little bit weak right now. It is what it is when it comes down to that. But we just got to have better performances in those areas. I know that we're capable of it, and hopefully we get it together. But, it's just something that you have to acknowledge. Nahshon Wright did not have the strongest game, but it wasn't absolutely terrible, because he contributed when the Bears had that, hey, we need to snap back. We need to have the bend but don't break mentality. We need to get in there. He also locked in and gave that to us as well. So, that's what you take from that, what you will, right? In that. But Nahshon Wright got to be a little bit better in that. I need to see better from him. And then also, Ben Johnson called a hell of a game. But I get it that DeAndre Swift had the hot hand in rolling. But what's been going on with why Roschon Johnson hasn't been playing? Roschon got 1 carry in this game. He got 2 carries in this game. He averaged 16 yards. I'm sorry, not 2. I'm looking at the wrong stats. Roschon got 1 carry in this game. He averaged 6 yards in that 1 carry, and that's what Roschon does. This is why you need Roschon, even if he's just your goal line running back. And I've talked about it before too. Put him in there as the fullback sometimes. Those type of things are important for Roschon to get his life together, man. But, we went away from Kyle Monangai. He was having some success early on too. We did get him involved in the passing game too. But I get it. DeAndre Swift was the hot hand. You got to ride the hot hand. And overall, Ben Johnson called a really solid game, especially on that fourth quarter drive. I love the way that Ben Johnson kind of calmed the team down. We got positive momentum when we needed to. And this is why I say things like, when you talk about a team and you talk about the way that a team progresses, right? It's about getting points on as many drives as you can. And, Steve-O was talking about, I don't need 3, I need 7, those type of things. And I understand that, right? If you got an opportunity to put 7 on the board, you put 7 on the board. But this offense put together some drives where they were able to get points out of it. And that's really why you're still trying to win, while you're still working out the kinks. The key thing is to find value in every drive, right? And for that, I got to also acknowledge the kicker who came in for Carol Santos. He was out. Jake Moody accounted for 13 points for the Chicago Bears. He went 4 or 5 on field goals. The Bears only scored 25 points. The kicker accounted for more than half the Chicago Bears points. And that's why when C-Dub says things like, who cares about kickers and things like that, this is why kickers do matter. 13 points came from the kicker. 13 of them. And we needed every bit of that. And you have to have execution on the special teams. Special teams on the other side, right? When defending, we gave up some pretty big kick returns, and that's a problem. But Jake Moody came in here, and he performed admirably for the Chicago Bears. I got to give him credit for how he was able to come in here and perform, what he was able to give the Bears coming off the street, basically. And Moody came in. He missed one, and that one, it would have made a big difference. But to put up 13 points for Jake Moody, I got to give him credit for that, man. 80% on field goals yesterday. Like I said, we needed every single one of those. We needed all of it. And so it was good to see that part as well. Other players that stood out, absolutely. TJ Edwards in his first game back, 9 total tackles, 4 of those being solo. He was second in the team in total tackles, tied for first with Tremaine Edmunds on solo tackles. That's what you love to see. Kevin Byard had another solid game. And like I say about the duality of Nahshon Wright's performance yesterday, he had a tackle for a loss and a pass deflected, 4 solo tackles, 5 total tackles in that. Listen, he had himself a game. Shamar Turner as well, 4 tackles in that game, all of those being solo, and he had a tackle for a loss. And depending on what's happening with with Grady Jarrett and things like that. We're going to need Shamar Turner to definitely step up for the Chicago Bears team, going forward as well. And we'll see. So the Bears had themselves a game yesterday. And, this was one of the games that you got to watch. And when you watch this game, you see a team that has some toughness. You see some team that has some je ne sais quoi about themselves, right? And it's just this team played inspired football. And you love to see that. That inspired football from this team, you love to see. I love that they have that they're locked in. And we just gotta continue this path, man. We gotta continue to ride this momentum. The Bears have now won 3 games in a row. And now let's go out there and see what we can do going forward in the other games and how much further we can turn this thing around because, as we've seen, we're right there in the thick of things in the NFC North. Despite starting off 0-2 in the NFC North, we're still right there. And so that's really big for this team as well. So I love seeing that and how this team is just improving in the areas that we need to improve. Caleb Williams had himself a solid night. The key thing, no turnovers from Caleb Williams. Those overthrows, those missed opportunities, those are there for Caleb. And that right now is part of the Caleb Williams experience, but I'm not going to look at just that and ignore some of the areas that he's also improving in as a quarterback because he is. They blitzed him considerably last night, and he recognized the blitz pretty well more times than not. So, Caleb is also growing in those places, and we're going to see where that growth leads the Bears. But with that said, after games, we always go into the mailbag. Of course, we got a voicemail from Darius. Let's go ahead and play that now.
What's going on, guys? Darius from Dallas, man. Good win, fellas. Good win. That's one of them ones that you can hang your hat on because we were at home on the road, prime time, and it was raining. Refs doing I haven't seen us get cheated on this bad, man, since, I don't know if y'all remember when we had Justin Fields and we had that Monday night game against the Steelers, and they were just giving them every call. I haven't seen cheating this bad since then, man. So props to Ben Johnson and the team for overcoming all of that. Like every scenario was lined up for us to lose, and we still won. So that's how you build that winning culture there, man. Also Theo Benedet, I think we got our starting left tackle. He's awesome in the run game. So if he can at least be average to good, maybe slightly above average in the pass game, I'll take that. And I think that he'd play above average in the pass game tonight. Caleb is getting to sit back there without getting touched now. And I think that's part of the reason why he's able to develop and do what he's doing. Tyreek Stevenson, brother, you're close. You're real close for me getting completely off your back. Let me just see it for a few more games. But he has absolutely completely turned it around. And in fact, if he finds a way to turn it up one more level, hell, I might even be comfortable with letting Jalen Johnson walk. And I know we don't want to let go of good talent. Yada, yada, yada. But we know that when it comes down to contract time, Jalen Johnson is not going to budge on his money. We know that. So with the additions that we want to make to the team, it might cost us Jalen Johnson, maybe not next year, but in the future. But Tyreek, just please keep doing what you're doing, man. And the run game, just wanted to speak on Ben Johnson for a second because he absolutely put together a scheme, and he basically found a way to make it work. I feel like he turned chicken shit into chicken salad. And Swift, he put Swift in the opportunities, in the situations that the exact type of runs that he needed to thrive, and you saw him look good. I feel like Kyle Monangai runs hard on every play, so he had a really good game as well. But we're still not giving Roschon Johnson touches, okay? And like I said, every time that boy touched the ball, it's 5 yards. And what did he do with his one carry? 6 yards. So I don't know what's going on there, but might need to figure that one out. But for the most part, everything went good. Texas up, bear down.
Bears like I said, they beat the refs, the weather, and the Commanders yesterday. That's what it is. The officiating was bad. And I'm somebody who I don't typically like to blame officiating. Like I don't. I always go to, well, you should put yourself in a position where you're playing well enough to, even with some bad officiating, that you can overcome it. But last night, that officiating was egregious, is what it was, my boy. That was bad officiating all the way around. That was just terrible and disgusting, to be 100% honest with you. As far as Theo Benedet, he looks legit. He looks really freaking good. Run blocking, definitely there. I don't think he's any shab in pass blocking either. Theo Benedet, it looks like we got us one, right? And as much as we talk about Ryan Poles and some missed draft picks, like Ryan Poles has been able to find value in undrafted free agents. And Theo Benedet looks like a guy that's going to provide some tremendous value for the Bears if he keeps progressing. And you really love that. He's the rightful starter over that left tackle position over Braxton Jones. And he showed that last night. And now let's keep that going. As far as Tyreek Stevenson, I'm glad that we can acknowledge Tyreek has improved. As far as Jalen is still heads and shoulders above Tyreek. Tyreek isn't the shutdown corner that Jalen Johnson is at all. But I will say I do see the point that you're making when it comes to renegotiating that contract. Luckily, we're a few years away from that. I know Jalen had brought up something about it may be time to renegotiate the deal, but hey, you're injured, and if you miss a whole season, it's not time to renegotiate a deal if you lost a whole season with injury. So the Bears don't shape up to have to worry about that yet, but it is a conversation that could have to come down at some point, and I see what you're coming down with that one. And I don't think Jalen's going to hold out or anything like that, especially not coming off an injury. So we got a little while to wait till that, but I get what you're coming from there. And as far as the running game, it definitely looked improved. We did go away from Kyle Monangai. Like you said, we haven't been using Roschon Johnson, and hopefully Ben Johnson starts feeling more confident in using those guys because we need to have that balance in the run game. And I think we can get solid. I don't think we can get top half of the league, but we can get solid in that run production, and we need to find a way to get there. All right, let's get into the next voicemail, man. This one's from Dre.
Cognac boys, this be your boy Dre calling from McKinley Park. I just watched the game from start to finish. That was a hell of a game. So I wanted to call in and give kudos to Theo Benedet. Theo Benedet, man, you played a hell of a game, and you, in my opinion, have taken the left tackle job from Braxton Jones. Darnell Wright, you definitely did your thing. That was a gutsy performance. I know your elbow is not 100%. Jonah Jackson, Drew Dalman, y'all pissed me off tonight. Joe Tooney, you was outstanding. DeAndre Swift, can we give it up for my man DeAndre Swift, man? He gets a lot of flack, and mostly rightfully so. But tonight, man, he balled the fuck out. Almost 200 yards from scrimmage, and I believe 1 or 2 touchdowns. I'm not sure, but man, what a motherfucking win! And you guys were talking about you can win 3 we could very well win the next 5 games. Man, just think a 7-game win streak in Ben Johnson's first year. Man, if that happens, man, you know this city is gonna go fucking crazy. But let me know what y'all think, man. Shout out up, bet down, peace.
Theo looks legit. I mean, much like I said in Darius' voicemail, Theo absolutely looks legit. It's his position now. Darnell Wright was definitely improved as well. And if we have improved tackle play, that should help the run game considerably. That's going to help protect Caleb Williams, all those type of things. And so that's what you need from your team. Swift had his best game as a Bear. I think his other best game was also against the Washington Commanders. And hopefully now we can roll this momentum, and we can ride this momentum out into getting some solid things. And if we do, hey, listen, the Bears can start taking off a little bit, man. And let's hope that that's the case this season for the Chicago Bears. But, man, some positive things happening for the Bears. Let's keep it going, and let's see what the future is going to hold for this team. But that's my time for today, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you guys are following us at Shy Bears Central. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, chicagobearscentral@gmail.com. And lastly, if you want to leave a text message and or voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-242-9336. We are the #1 spot for everything Chicago Bears related. But that is thanks to you, lovely and beautiful people. And like I like to end every episode on, Chi-Town up, Bear down. Love you guys. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.